Well, it will be of interest to Nigerians to hear what I've come to discuss with Mr. President, among several other things. Many of us are very concerned with the recent agitations for protests and people, many citizens were so concerned, constituents across the country are very concerned that the federal government will remove the petroleum subsidy. And for us as parliamentarians, as legislators representing the people of Nigeria, this must be of interest to us. And we've just finished our recess. We had gone home to our constituencies and senatorial districts, and we felt the pulse of our people. And I found it necessary to visit Mr. President as the leader of our government and our leader in the country to discuss this particular issue of concern to Nigerians. And I'm happy to inform Nigerians that Mr. President never told anyone that the petroleum subsidy should be removed. I know and I agree that the subsidy is very heavy, but I think we must never transfer the burden to the citizens. I believe that we need to look at the quoted figure of maybe 100 million liters that people claim we are consuming. Is it I'm paying either under recoveries or subsidy? Is it really 100 million liters per day? How on earth are we consuming that? We need to look at this critically and see how we can find the truth. Because I am not convinced that within the boundaries of Nigeria we are consuming 100 million liters. Probably our neighboring countries may benefiting from this. Can't we do something about it? It's a failure on us if we are not able to control it, this particular aspect of smuggling out the petrol, and then in return push the burden to the ordinary citizen. So I want to commend Mr. President for still keeping this philosophy of ensuring that the most ordinary Nigerian does not suffer in any way. Government is meant to serve people. And the essence of government, like we all know, is to protect the lives and property and welfare of the people. And that petrol aspect is part of the welfare. It may not be exactly the way we want it in the implementation of the subsidy, but that is our challenge as an administration, as a government. So we need to come together, both the legislature, the National Assembly, and those people and institutions and organizations that are responsible in dealing with this matter, to find a solution to this.
PDP opposition governments are saying they can no longer afford the burden that is too heavy for them.
Well, that's their opinion, and they had their time. They should have done something about it. Now we have to do something about it. I have admitted that the burden is heavy, but I don't think that the ordinary citizen should be the one to bear the burden. those of us in government should come together and find a solution to this, including the PDP states and PDP as a political party. There must be an irreducible minimum level of partisanship. There is a level at which you should not come down to because of politics. No, citizens first. Preserve the people, preserve the country. Then we can look for any office to govern. But we shouldn't toy with lives of our people. I am very happy, very relieved with this meeting with Mr. President.
But how soon do you hope to see this stakeholder meeting on subsidy? Because it's becoming too much for the country to bear.
Well, I agree with that. I'm not saying it's not heavy. It is. But do you run away from challenges because you don't run away from your challenges? That's why you are in government. So we should come together and find a solution to it. Now is for our administration, our party, to come together and involve every possible stakeholder and find out how we can reduce this thing. Because it's not true that 100 million liters is consumed in Nigeria every day. It's not true. It's not. No. We have to find a solution to this.
Are there no audited mechanism to find that?
These are the things that we need to come up with. We have to find a way out of this. Honestly, Nigerians have other challenges, and we shouldn't put more burden on them. Government exists for providing suitable life, affordable life to people, and we shouldn't run away from that.
When are we expecting to see the electoral bill back to the president?
Well, I smile because that again, by the grace of God, tomorrow, both chambers, the Senate and the House of Representatives, will pass the bill. And I hope that before the end of the week, the bill could be brought back to Mr. President for his assent. I hope that. But one thing I'm sure of, by the grace of God, is we are passing the bill, the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2010, tomorrow, Wednesday, the 19th, in both chambers. And we are happy that at the end of the day, we have been able to narrow down our differences and arrive at a very patriotic resolution that our country must have a new electoral law that will guide the 2023 general elections in the country, and Nigeria would have everything to benefit from this law. And for us in the 9th Assembly, the Electoral Act Amendment Bill is one of our major legislative agenda that we wanted to deal with in the 9th National Assembly. And to the glory of God, Almighty Allah, by tomorrow, we will be able to pass that bill for Mr. President to assent to it. I hope that the cleaning process will not take more than a day. But if it does, then it has to be early next week. But I'm very optimistic that there is not much to clean, because normally when we pass the bills like this, a bill like this, it goes to the legislative drafting unit of the National Assembly. So what you have in the National Assembly as passed is not the final document that comes to the President. And I know that many people were saying there were so many flaws in the bill that was brought to Mr. President. Maybe what they had was the bill passed in the Senate or in the House, not the one that was cleaned up, the final document that was cleaned up, because even us, we didn't have that document. I would sign it off, but I appreciate the efforts of all Nigerians in taking interest in what we do and even participating by way of looking for what is right and what is not when we pass our bills or in terms of legislative activities generally. On the whole, I think it's a worthwhile exercise that we've worked so hard in a very bipartisan manner to pass the electoral bill amendment bill before, and Mr. President to raise the observations he did, and for the National Assembly having consulted widely with Nigerians, with our constituents, and we came to the conclusion in both chambers, across party lines, in a very patriotic way, to say, oh, what we need to do is not to waste time. Time is of essence in this respect. We should just look at the possibility of opening up the mode of primaries so that you can have direct, you can have indirect, and even consensus. And it's up to political parties to decide which option is okay for them and at what time. But I'm sure that all the options will be used. All the options will be used by political parties in different occasions or whatever.
So back to this issue of subsidies. The subsidy regime is not captured in 2022 budget. Are we expecting supplementary budget?
No, I will not speculate. What I'm telling you is a burden, quite all right, and we have to work as an administration. We need to work hard to find a solution to it. We shouldn't push this burden to the ordinary man. 100 million liters of petrol consumed every day in Nigeria. I can tell you it's not correct. I don't believe in that. If it is not so, what do we need to do? We have to sit down and deal with this so that we find a solution as a government, not to push it to the people. If we do that, because it's easier to just say we remove it. But of course, we know our situation today. So it's a burden. We have to find a solution. I don't know what the solutions are, but we need to find, it is a must that we look for a solution. People are taking out this petrol outside of this country. The immigration, the customs, and everybody is supposed to be on their toe. Everybody should be on his toes. And we also need to mobilize our citizens, especially those at the borders. If you see something, say something. Because these people are the ones that are causing us problem. They are smuggling this thing. They are not flying with that. They are following villages and roads. So we have to find a way so that the truth will be found. It can't be 100 million liters and then we said this subsidy thing. Yeah, it's a burden. We can use the money freely for other things, especially social development, schools, hospitals. But if we don't do something, how are we sure that it will not even become 200 million liters by the time this thing is, we just remove it, and it's going to take a whole lot of stress on the lives of the people. So I just want to commend Mr. President that he didn't order anybody to say that petroleum subsidy will be removed, even though we know it's a burden. So now our task is, as an administration, we must find a solution. Let's go and lock ourselves somewhere.
But the assurance is that the subsidy regime will not be removed under the Buhari presidency.
No, I'm not going to speculate on that. But I'm telling you what I know from my discussions with Mr. President. And I don't want to go beyond that kind of understanding. He didn't tell anybody that we should go and remove petroleum subsidy. And those of us who represent the people know how people are already stressed up and are saying this is going to kill everyone. Even if people don't say, we know it's going to be too much for them. So it's our task. Are we not fighting insurgency and terrorism? Are we not? Is it not taking our money? It's taking our resources. So it's meeting with the challenges. You need to fight to deal with challenges when you come into government. This is why you are in government. So we have to find a solution. I don't know what the solutions are, but we must find solutions somehow. This is our own task, and we'll do something by the grace of God.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.